Hello, welcome to the virtual tour of Concrete Expanded at the Janet Holmes Gallery in West Perth. I'm Leticia Wilson, the exhibitions manager here, and I will just be giving you a bit of a walkthrough of the exhibition, which has been installed recently. So this is the second time this exhibition has been shown. It was at the Holmes Gallery in Vas Felix last year, but I think it's particularly suited to this urban context of the warehouse environment. So the exhibition is a celebration of concrete art and a somewhat playful suggestion of its expansion of the genre into other materials by a younger generation of artists, so light sculptures, concrete sculptures, acrylic works, and cloth to tape works. So let's start the tour here. This is Brian McKay with Light 15, and in some ways this piece exemplifies a lot of the themes of the exhibition. It's abstract minimalism, it's big, it's bold, and if you look close up you'll see that the way Brian has worked with paint here, it really reflects light in quite dynamic ways. Doesn't really translate digitally, but I think you get the idea. Okay, moving on. So, when it comes to hard-edged minimalism, I think Robert Hunter, who has two works in this show, is really one of the classics in Australia. He was in the original field exhibition in 1968, which really defined the landscape for abstract art in Australia. I think he was only 21 at the time. And you'll notice that the surface here is detailed, if you can see that. I hope you can see that. He has quite a meticulous way of working with geometries that creates this rhythmic patterning across the surface of his works. And they are all done in this large scale. I think that was intended mostly because that's the size that fit in his van at the time. Okay. In the foreground here is a piece by Joshua Webb, Altar 4, and in some ways this is a bit of a tongue-in-cheek play on the idea of concrete art, but of course it is very much a stunning piece of work in itself. Webb works with both concrete and light, custom light sculptures, which you'll see in a moment. Okay. Here we have Trevor Richards, and this work really mirrors the architectural features of the building. As you'll see up there, triangles. Okay, then coming around to this little piece on the edge here, Douglas Shearer. Very minimal, abstract squares, but quite playful also because they are articulating panels. Each of these panels moves. Now, Rebecca Bowman was originally part of the this exhibition at Vas Felix, but she was unable to take part here. So instead I invited Jennifer Cochrane to make these site-specific cloth tape works, as you'll see if I get a bit close up. And of course they fit beautifully within the themes of the exhibition. And on the end here we have Helen Smith. And Helen Smith, along with Trevor Richards, is part of the Australian Centre for Concrete Art, which began in the early 2000s, and it really brought these large-scale concrete art forms to the streets of Fremantle mostly, where it was splashed across walls throughout Fremantle. And Helen, as well as Jennifer, is part of the Art Collective WA. Okay, now this is another example of a younger generation of artists still focusing on abstract geometric forms, but doing so with new materials, different materials. So here Consuelo Caverniglia has used mirror and coloured acrylic, and it really creates this interesting doubling effect in the reflection, as you can see, and you can see the entire exhibition through these works in distorted ways. And this one here belongs to the Murdoch University Art Collection. Okay, here is a light sculpture by Joshua Webb, using the colours of dusk and dawn. And with this work, it's very much the not only the form itself, but also the light emitted, which is the art. Okay, here, Trevor Vickers, another member of the Art Collective, and Trevor was also in the Field exhibition, so a long time proponent of abstract art in Australia. And these two works, along with many of the other works in the exhibition, are for sale, so please do look at our website for further information about that, because at this time, at any time really, it's important to support local artists, but especially at this time when many artists are facing economic hardship. Okay, I'm just going to come to this piece here. This is a new work by Joshua Webb, Altar 10, and it's a polished concrete work that goes directly into the floor there. It's got subtly reflective qualities, as you can see, and in the background is another light sculpture by Josh, which is from a private collection. Okay, that almost brings us to the end of the tour. I hope you've enjoyed it. You can see as I'm walking back here that all of the works each have their own space. It's a very minimal exhibition. It's a kind of reprieve from the clutter and information overload of contemporary existence. Lastly here is the Heaven painting by Janine Eaton. And I will just finish with this one and say, please check out our Instagram, our Facebook page, our website, and sign up to our newsletters for more information about what we're doing here. Thank you for listening.